What's going on, Navy Vet 88? It's been a minute since I seen y'all. How y'all been? First off, this video, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know this is pretty much a recap of me going out to SHOT Show. So anybody here who's watching this video, if you was out there, then you know we had a real good time and there was a lot going on. I see why it's about a 4 to 5 day event. There's no way that you'll be able to hit every single booth or anything like that within the 3 or 4 days. Like, it's almost impossible. Any of my prior military people, if you've been to Mall of Dubai or the Mall of Emirates, I'm not sure which one it's called, but you'll know it's like 1,000 floors with like 500-600 stores. It's just like no way you'll be able to hit every store in one day. But needless to say, man, SHOT Show was great. Had a great time. It was my first SHOT Show, as a matter of fact, and I already know that I'm already mentally booking myself to get ready for SHOT Show in 2026. So if you get a chance to go, submit your information, get your invite, and definitely go. It's definitely an experience, a lot of networking, a lot of first hands-on type of things when it comes to certain products that you've probably never seen before, or things that you've probably never thought about having yourself until you've been there, had some things in your hand, pick some things up, and you're like, oh man, I really like this. My takeaways for as far as my I would say top 3 experiences that I had while I was there. One, I met people over at Victos. This was pretty much like the first booth that I stopped at, which was crazy because when you walk up the elevator to go to the second floor, their booth is like right there. So it was really dope to be able to meet a lot of those guys, especially Perry, man. We've connected and talked over the months or whatever the case may be. Just casual chit chat. So to put a name with a face was really dope. I think the second part that I think I enjoyed most was the fact that there were so many vendors that were not only top end brands that everybody knows in the industry. And when I say top end brands, I'm talking LMT, I'm talking FN, CZ, Glock, all of those, Springfield, Armory, Smith & Wesson, and the list goes on, Staccato, and it goes on and on and on. And that's not only just firearms, but also when it comes to parts, gear, footwear, apparel, things of that nature. It was like so many of the top brands that were there. But if you went to another section, which it was completely massive and just one part of the building in itself, you would find a lot of other vendors with things that you've never seen, never heard of, up and coming vendors, whether it be knives or food, survivalist type of things. Like I said, gear and apparel, firearms, all of that, you name it. And I appreciated that they had that, so it wasn't just overwhelming with the amount of just mainstream industry people that people know the most. So it's a lot of companies that I've networked with, I've gotten information from. We've conversated over emails already since I've been back on Friday. So yeah, it's a lot of good people out there, man. People are very helpful. People are very caring and considerate. If you be respectful with them and not, bombard them, because there's a lot of people there that are doing media. It's the same as what I'm doing right now. And then even people who are being paid to be there. So I've been in points where I'm recording something and I have somebody who is from, say, one of those other major channels, and they're like right next to me doing the whole interview. And I know that this is probably paid for them by the company that is at SHOT Show that's letting them, do their whole spiel, their review, or just having a conversation with them. So that's probably my second biggest takeaway that I liked, is the fact that it was so many other vendors that were there to display things that we've never heard of. Thirdly, I would probably say the access to be able to maneuver around was very easy. Now, it was numbered in a certain way, so you would have to look up in the sky to see certain numbers, but they give us a catalog, and you can get a catalog once you go to once you're at the main entrance. They're like pretty much handing out all types of literature as far as the setup and the layout of the entire SHOT Show. And it was in the Venetian Hotels conference, or whatever you want to call that section. It was the whole top floor, whole second floor, and then if you crossed over the bridge, it would take you over to, I want to say, the Caesar's Palace Forum, and then they had a whole nother situation over there. So The ease of being able to just maneuver around was like really, really great. I enjoyed it. I walked a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think my first day and my second day, I probably walked about almost 10 miles each day. And that was just me maneuvering back and forth between these booths and these booths and these booths, talking to people, you know. This was one of the milestones that I actually hit, because initially when I started this YouTube channel, it was only to go to SHOT Show once I found out that you had to have a invite to even get here to begin with. So to be able to have achieved that milestone already, I'm just like, you know, kudos, bravo Zulu to myself, you know what I mean? And then I was able to meet Coleon Noir, which is like, he's my biggest, you know, person that I'm interested in as far as in the community, because if it wasn't for him, then I don't think I would have been into the community the way that I am. Because I was introduced to him through YouTube some years back, maybe like 2012 or 13. And I've been, you know, following the wave that he's been setting ever since. So I got a chance to meet him. He signed my hat. He actually recognized me from the hat that I was wearing. And if I get a chance, I'll get a picture of it in the video. But he actually recognized the hat that I was wearing. I didn't even know that he recognized me standing around, you know, outside of the little place that he was, you know, posted up at with his media guy and just like some random people or whatever the case may be. But super cool guy, great interaction. I actually ran into him twice, as a matter of fact. And both times it was, you know, like I said, it was super chill, super cool. The second time I ran into him, I was just stopping to say what up, because I just so happened to realize that I was in the same area where he was actually doing some type of media thing or whatever the case may be. So it was just pretty cool to see him right there the second time around and go say what up. He recognized me. I was like, you know, what's good. So, you know, that was a fantastic thing. If I had to have 3 takeaways from it, the first would be the whole club situation, because they do have the SHOT Show After Dark thing, and they have you pay for a package, and it's pretty much just to kind of get you to the front of the line of the club, and you don't have to play, you know, club prices or whatever the case may be. So they had it 3 different nights, or 4 if I'm not mistaken. But it was just, it wasn't it, in my opinion. It was like, looking back on it now, it's like if you were there with a big crowd of people, you know, you linked up with a lot of people that you maybe knew on social media, and this was y'all first time linking up together, or y'all might have, you know, known each other before, and y'all get together and it's like 10, 15, 20 of y'all, and y'all moving deep like that, then yeah, I think the whole club situation is like really, really cool. But if you like me, you know, I'm a solo artist, I'm a lone wolf out there, so I didn't have any, you know, body recording me. I did all of my recording, so that, which is why I think a lot of the recording that I did isn't as extensive as I wanted it to be initially. But when I look back at it and look at the networking that I had done, the relationships built as far as social media is concerned, the just conversation of learning things more so than just taking video, you know, to me that was a whole lot more. That was a whole lot more of a greater takeaway for me. But the club situation thing, that SHOT Show After Dark, I just thought that was like kind of wet. And I don't think that they, I think it was more intended for people who are meeting in those large groups like that. People who are getting together with people that they know off of social media, and they're linking up, and then they're like mobbing to the different hotels for the spots or whatever. The second thing I would say that I didn't care for was the drinks. Now, if you went to a certain section that was outside, which was called like the bridge, and that's what crossed you from the Venetian over to Caesars, they had like a little bar section outside. It was some apparel for like SHOT Show apparel, so you can get like SHOT Show shirts and hoodies and hats and all, you know, wristbands and all that kind of stuff. And that was cool, but the prices that they were trying to charge for drinks out there were ridiculous. I think I had got a beer. It was like, you know, a large cup or whatever, but it was like $18. So I'm like, nah, that ain't it. And then, you know, and I knew back, I take that back. I've been to Vegas before, so I know where it is that you're going, that you're gonna pay a lot, and where you're not gonna pay a lot. And I didn't figure that, because I figured that because that situation was for us, I felt like the prices would have either been really, really low, or it would have just been free. Because at the last night, when we had the little outside section, if anybody was there, you know, we went outside. I think it was outside of Caesars in the little open area, and they had the little music playing and stuff until about 1 or 2. all the beer was free. You just walk up, just get your beer. So I felt like when it was during the daytime, I felt like it should have been the same way. But maybe it was a way to discourage people from drinking as much and not have people as drunk, quote unquote, moving around in there. But I still was drinking. I had a beer or two, and I was just moving around, still talking and having conversations with people. The third thing I would say that was on a negative aspect, or not say a negative, but just something that I didn't really care for. Um, hmm, that's a real good one. That's a real good one. I really don't have a three. I think if I had a three, it might have been just some of the booths of the companies that had their people who were, their representatives or whatever, and they went like engage with certain people, and I could kind of tell. And I think it might have been a thing where it's like you don't seem like you're as interested, or you don't seem like you're fitting the bill for whatever this is that's going on. And I feel like they kind of just would just let you just kind of stand there and just really want to say nothing to you. So I thought that was pretty whack. But yeah, some people are just like that. It might be a personality thing. Who knows? If I had any type of honorable mentions as far as my three highs and my three lows, I got in contact with the people at Shellback Tactical, and I have a lot of Shellback Tacticals, or should I say I've purchased a few things from Shellback Tactical. As a matter of fact, you see my plate carrier in the back, it's by Shellback Tactical. And the lady named Amanda, who I got in contact with, who was there working the booth, super, super cool, super chill. And yeah, man, we talked for a minute. They helped me out with a situation I was dealing with some gear that I had, and they got me right. And man, like I said, just really, really great people. So I think that would probably be my honorable mention. May you have it. As far as some of the celebrity people that I saw there, the guy from I think Classic Firearms, I'm not sure. There's another guy that I think is on Classic Firearms, I'm not sure. Of course, Colion Noir. Some guy named DJ from GBR. I'm not sure the acronym, but I know that they're out of Virginia Beach, and I know one of my homies, he's cool with the guy DJ. And yeah, he was out there, and there was a lot of people in line waiting to get autographs and all that. I remember asking people, I was like, yo, what line is this? And they was like, it's for DJ. And I'm like, who? And I was like, and then I finally had left that line, went to go do something else. And as I was coming back, I saw him, and I was like, oh yeah, I know who y'all talking about now. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see, a lot of people that to see their faces like online, and then finally see them like in person. It was like, I want to say surreal, because for me, I've seen and, interacted with famous people, for the past few years, and it, I've never been like a starstruck kind of person in the sense, but it always happened in a way that was weird, because I would always meet these people who are, quote unquote famous in like some of the most random places. Although me and Colion Noir was a random place, he was gonna be there, and just the way that I met him wasn't like a standing in line or anything like that. I just pretty much just walked over, said what up. It was me, him, and like another guy just standing around. And and that's how I got my my picture, got my hat signed, good quick conversation, letting them know about my background, and just his influence on me and all of this stuff that I'm doing right now, going back to when I first started, honestly. So yeah, those are my takeaways, those are my honorable mentions. Did I see anything that was interesting that kind of sparked my interest? Yes, it was a knife, and I think it was called Microtech, and I'll put the video of me actually holding it. This knife was crazy. It was like the automatic, knife you just push up and it pops out. Crazy. Like, I've never been into spending a whole lot of money on knives, but after having that in my hand, just seeing like the craftsmanship, just how it feels, how it operates, like I would pay, if I had the $350 that I wanted to pay for it, I think it was $350 or $4, I would pay it. Like it was a really nice knife. Really nice knife. I'm trying to think of some other things that I really seen that just really, really like sparked my interest, or just really, really caught my eye. It was a lot of things that I might have seen before, and I just really wanted to see them in person and really have like a hands-on interactions with them, because I've actually been in between getting the Prodigy and the Echelon, so to be able to like handle both really just kind of helped reassure me and validate my idea on what it is that I want, and what it is that I'm looking for and what I'm going to get the most out of, which I realize now is the Echelon. I'm glad that I kind of waited before I made the final decision, because which was crazy is because the Prodigy came out in the FDE colorway, and then so did the Echelon come out in the FDE colorway. So now they really had me. But I'm still leaning more toward the Echelon, but just because I'm more comfortable and more familiar with a striker fire pistol versus like a hammer fire pistol, and that double action, the single action, and trying to, clear it is just, it's a little too much for me, but some people like that. But yeah, man, other than that, man, great show. It was easy to get to. When I got my badge, as a matter of fact, I got my badge out of the airport. As a matter of fact, when I went down to baggage claim, got my bag, I called my homie. He was like, I'm on my way. I was like, all right, cool. So as I'm getting my bag and I'm walking, I seen the sign for SHOT Show, and I was like, they did say something about getting your badges inside of the airport, because initially I was just gonna go right over to the Venetian and pick it up from there. But I saw the sign, walked over there, did my little information, gave him my ID, got my badge. I was out of there. So I thought that was like really, really convenient for them to have all of those kiosks. I had that kiosk right there at baggage claim. Perfect. It was absolutely perfect. The only down part was that if you lose your badge, it was like a $200 fee to get a new badge. So I was like, that's crazy. But I didn't plan on losing it. The one thing I didn't like about it is like I got the paper badge with just like, this ain't the lanyard that I had at first. Initially I had like a red lanyard, but I just ended up getting one of these. But there were a lot of people who had the company's lanyard kind of thing, but it had like a little box so they could slip their access pass inside of it, and it would be like covered by like a little laminated thing, and it was like all type of, and I'm like, why don't we all get that? Because now here it is, we having to move around for 4 or 5 days with this piece of paper and trying to keep it from like getting wrinkled up, getting food on it, drinks on it, or whatever the case may be. And then some of these other people, mostly who were with companies, they had the little nice lanyard. It was like nice, threaded like this. I don't even think they had like these right here as far as the material. Like they had something nicer. So I guess it was a company thing, because I couldn't find one. I kept trying to get one and hustle one, but it just wasn't working. But I got a lot of stuff, man. I got a lot of stuff that people was just giving me off the strength that I probably shouldn't have got. Like one guy gave me this case right here, cigar case. And he actually went like out his way to go get this for me. Like, and this was just off of having, conversation. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, so I ended up getting this, which is like a model of a flashbang, which was actually a display model. And the guy kind of like looked around and just was like, here, take it. I was like, oh, appreciate it. But that came off of us having like a 20-minute conversation about a whole bunch of stuff, from like houses to traveling to everything, So he was like really, really cool about that. I'm not gonna put the company's logo on there because I don't want to get nobody in trouble, but yeah, man, I appreciate that. That was a nice little replica. And speaking of replicas, I was at Blue Force Gear, and as you can see some of these pictures right here, we had some really, really nice replicas there, which were from The Lone Survivor. So if you like that movie, like the dope movie, and those replicas were like immaculate. The one that I think was I forget which was the long rifle, more of like a marksman rifle. It was more of like a plastic build, but the other one like here is the M4 style. It had like the grenade launcher at the bottom, and it was like heavy. It felt like, it said replica, but I felt like it was the exact, real deal. I think they might have just taken like the firing pins or something like that out of it. But other than that, like I felt the weight of a gun. That wasn't no replica like that. That was a real deal. M4 built out, tricked out like that. And I think they just removed something on the inside and just said it was a replica. But I could be wrong though. If it was a replica, I'd buy it, honestly. I'm talking about the weight, everything. But yeah, that was a great booth too. I met a guy there, talked to him. I forget what his name is, but we talked for a while. He was retired with the Las Vegas Police Department. Super, super chill dude. We actually met in how we interacted initially was funny because of something that I said, and then he he said something, and it was crazy, but we ended up having like a 20-30 minute conversation, and I thought that was really dope. Really, really cool dude. Reminds me of some people I know, honestly, prior military guys. He was in the Navy, of course. And he had some crazy stories, man. Las Vegas it's a lot more dangerous than I thought it was, man. I thought it was a super chill, just a lot of people drunk and on drugs. But nah, man, it really gets busy out there, especially, going further back into like the earlier 2000s and 90s. Right here, I guess I show this from Next Torch. This was, see that? All right, so this was just pretty much a product that they wanted me to review. And I got a couple more products coming in the mail, so I'll do a review on this. Pretty much just like a little tack light handheld. They had a whole like seminar and everything going on. Like, it was really dope. And they seen my channel and find out about some stuff. And he was like, "Here, like, take it. Do a review on it. We got some more stuff to send you, and get in contact with such and such and such, and we'll send you some more stuff." So I'm like, "All right, cool." But man, all in all, man, SHOT Show was fantastic, man. I don't think I could have asked for anything better to meet my expectations of what an achievement would feel like, or a milestone would feel like once you experience it. I feel like we write a lot of things down and we plan for a lot of things, and sometimes we like me, your expectations are so wild because you think about stuff so hard and so in detail that when it finally comes around, it may not turn out to be what it was that you were actually looking for. But this lived up to the hype, man. And the only thing that I wish I might have done differently would be to have gotten in contact, as far as social media is concerned, with a lot of these other companies that I do buy from, or support, watch, or whatever the case may be, and contacted them beforehand, and possibly spoke to them about doing certain types of interviews that were on camera. And then me having my actual media, person, or I don't want to say person like somebody I hired, but whoever, to just come with me, and actually film those interactions, but it be in a one-on-one setting. And I say that because I've seen a lot of companies while I was there. Everybody would be like in the booth area and stuff like that. Then next thing you know, you start to see people kind of like move to the side. And then next thing you know, somebody comes out with like a big camera set up on a tripod. And next thing you know, they're doing like a one-on-one interview with the person. So something that I would take from that I feel like I would do better next time would possibly be to get in contact with the companies that I know for sure that I want to go and visit their booths and, speak to them, talk to them, ask questions or whatever, and see about doing a one-on-one interview like that versus just kind of walking up there and saying, "Hey, you mind just doing," and a lot of times they don't mind as long as you're not being like disrespectful. But for me, in a way of, I feel like how the business should be done, properly, then I would just reach out to them first. And then from there, try to meet them. It's like, "Oh, hey, I'm such and such, Navy Vet 88. Woo, we talk, and they be like, "Okay, bet, we ready to go ahead and do that interview because we talked about this ahead of time." And I would appreciate that a whole lot more. And I think that's something that I'm going to do when it comes to next year. And I know there's a few companies already that I know for sure I'm going to get that with. Like, that's a no-brainer. But I think for this being my first year, man, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about firearms that I didn't know. I learned a lot about knives that I didn't know. I learned about, production, you know what I mean? And how, how it goes to have good quality assurance when it comes to, creating some of this stuff. I can say this. When I went to LMT, I think it was LMT Defense, I think it was their booth, and I picked up one of their rifles, which is typically, I think, ran by some people in Europe somewhere. That rifle was so dang on heavy, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you gotta be in shape to carry that. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it wasn't anything that was like a LMG or anything like that. It wasn't like no real big marksman rifle or whatever. It's just whatever this rifle was, it was heavy. And I'm like, to move around with this, you got to be in shape, because that rifle felt like it was about 20 pounds. I ain't gonna lie to you. But as heavy as it was, it made me think of the damage that it might inflict on the other end of it. So I'm like, yeah, you got this. You tearing up some walls, you tearing up car doors, like you going to work. But it was cool though, man. Shout out to LMT, man. They had some cool stuff out there. Cool stuff. So shout out to the companies that I'm gonna go ahead and name, because I had a great time experiencing with y'all. So I'm gonna say, starting off first, Victos, then Shellback Tactical, LMT, Microtech, the NRA booth. They was pretty cool, pretty funny, man. I thought they liked me, and so I said something on the back end and they was probably like, get out of here. FN booth, man, that's why I make only on the R at FN booth. And it's another booth that I had stopped at. I forget the name of it. But it was a nice guy named Tyler. Showed me a whole lot of different stuff when it came to like optics, thermals, like everything. And I hate that I can't think of the name of the company right now, but super dope company, super dope company. And I had a great conversation with him as well. Oh, I guess ninth would be, what's this, SKB. So SKB cases, they make a lot of cases. As you can see, this was a cigar case, but if you imagine this on a scale that's probably like 50 times bigger, then there you go. They make cases for pistols, multiple pistols, maybe like 3 pistols, 5, 6 pistol setups, a whole lot of individual inserts for your magazines, you know, big long cases for your ARs and, you know, hunting rifles or whatever the case may be. Then they just made like just big cases, which actually somebody told me that the police who were there at the show had them stationed all around the entire show, and they probably were out of the view of like the normal person. You probably didn't recognize them, or they probably had them like in a room that was like directly tucked away behind one of the venue sections. But they said they was loaded out and ready to go at a moment's notice, and they were all over the entire building. And I believe it, you know, given the height of what just happened, you know, at Trump Towers not too long ago. So yeah, I could definitely believe that. But the guy was saying like, yeah, they here, like they got it, you know. And I was telling him, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if their actual gear lockers, quote unquote, are up under the tables of some of those booths, because some of those booths have tables, but you can't. You might not. It might just have like a curtain down, but nobody's gonna be like, oh, let me see what's under the curtain. But I think some of those booths were that, and they were keeping them so accessible that they can reach them like within the midst of like the crowd and stuff like that. Because I do feel like they had a lot of undercovers who might have been moving around, just watching, you know, looking like random Joe Schmo, tactical t-shirt on, backpack, you know, shades to the back, hat on or something like that, just moving around, but they're watching, you know, and you need that because the height of what we're going through, you know, as a country, as far as like the crime, the terrorist attacks and all of that, you know, you got to be vigilant and you have to be prepared. So I feel like that's being proactive by having those undercovers moving around, no different than being on an airplane and having the U.S. Marshal or whoever the guy who's sitting there looking like, you know, he's probably not doing that on his headphones and typing, but he's probably listening and just, you know, all that. So I appreciate them having that. Again, man, all in all, man, SHOT Show was fantastic. If you didn't get to go, man, you really missed out. If you can, work on your content, get your content recognized by them and get in contact with them and get yourself the SHOT Show for next year, because it's going to be even better next year. There was a lot of people saying that they didn't like it this year when I was reading comments. But I think, you know, that's coming from people who've probably been to show after show after show. And for me, it was my first time. And I thought it was great. So if it's been better than this beforehand, then that's crazy. That's really crazy. But man, I had a great time. I already know I'm going back. Like I say, next time I'm gonna have me somebody recording for me. I'm gonna get in contact with people and, you know, ahead of time so that I can get those one-on-one spots. So that I can help out, you know, with the channel and show you all what, you know, what was really going on out there at SHOT Show. Because there's a lot of people who probably won't ever make it out there because that's not their lane to do things, to be in that position, to do stuff like that. So I'll just be happy that I'm able to bring that to you guys so that you can see it. Other than that, man, great time. That's all I can say. I appreciate y'all for watching. Sorry it's been so long since I put another video up. I know last week I wanted to pull up a couple shorts because I was just busy, you know, walking around, like I said, doing like 10 miles a day walking. I ain't had time to record as much like I wanted to. But I'm getting to about the 30-minute mark, so I appreciate you for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, share with a friend, let everybody know, hey man, SHOT Show is it. So if you're trying to get there and you're working on content and you're trying to build your channel and things like that, like, yeah, get in contact with some of these people directly through like emails and stuff like that. And, you know, just work on the content. You know, I'm learning just like everybody else, and there's some people who have mastered it. I'm still working, you know, I'm still a work in progress with it. But like I said, man, like, share, and subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all. It's Navy Vet 88. Peace.